And we're live right now, Frosty. So it's Cameron Bonsey,
Hey,
VP of
Cameron.
Marketing for Coast of Maine. I'm with Melissa Frost of Frost Farms. They're in Bar Harbor on MDI. And Melissa, you've had your place open for about 3 years, right?
5. This is our 5th season, believe it or not, already.
5 years. Wow.
No.
You're
Yeah.
getting old, I
I'm
mean,
getting old. Yeah.
so young, but now I'm realizing you've been around this industry forever.
Forever. It does feel like a long time for sure.
One of the things that I really enjoy with these relationships that we have with the garden centers is to watch somebody like you who's working for another garden center, and then you actually decide to open your own. And your success has been pretty remarkable in all the work that you've had to do. Kind of talk about why you decided to say, look, I want my own place. This is what my concept is, and this is what I want to do.
Well, I think, going through college and everything, I always knew I wanted to own a small business. And with any, business degree, you kind of have to get into an industry and then sort of learn that industry. And that's, in a nutshell, basically what I did. And then I knew it was time for me and I was ready and I had some opportunity as far as real estate went. Where we are here in Town Hill is on a main state route, and it was just, the door opened and I walked through it, and here we are today, and it's been great so far. We've got a great customer base here. We have a lot of fun, and yeah, it's just been a great 5 years so far for sure.
Now, and it's interesting because I was talking to you yesterday and we were preparing for this, and I know that you attended the Maine Maritime Academy.
Yep.
And obviously you're a bright young woman and you're driven. Where did your love of horticulture come from?
Well, it's funny you say that. I kind of always enjoyed plants back in high school. I had an uncle down in Massachusetts who always had a veggie garden every year. And I just, we always did a little planting around the house growing up as kids. And, I always liked it. I like it as a business. It's got some real interesting textures as far as marketing, working with live products. And it just has a really dynamic, all around kind of, we do landscaping as well, but for the retail, you're selling plants, trees, shrubs, pottery. You're basically helping somebody decorate the outside of their home. So it's kind of, it's kind of fun that way.
So I talk about garden centers being doers. I mean, you have to be a doer, right?
Yep.
You got to be able to plan, but you got to be able to think in the moment. You just got to go out and get it done.
Yeah, I think any small business does like that. You just got to be able to shoot from the hip. Sometimes there's not always, 5-year planning ahead of you. It could be a month, it could be a week, and especially this past year, it could be minutes and days when you've got to come up with the next move to keep going. So
How do you find the staff that reacts that way? Because you seem to have a good young staff, and actually your staff, most of them that I met, there's a big female component to your staff too, and it seems like you've surrounded yourself with good, strong women.
yep, I have a amazing core group of people that have been with me from the very beginning. A lot of them have experience in this industry before, whether I've worked with them via another company, being on a small island, you just have a lot of relationships with people, everyone, so it's people get to know you and they know what, kind of workplace that you provide. And I think, anybody, you, me, anyone else working for an employer, what you want from your employer and what you want from your job in order to stay there. And you learn that prior to being an employer. So I think it was an easy thing to just take that and apply it and provide it to my employees. And so far, so good. Yeah.
Here's an interesting question because I'm an older guy, and I have my kids are about your age. They're just a little bit younger than you.
Mhm.
And I see a difference with not work ethic. It's just what they're interested in, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Yep.
I think, do you have any issue with finding somebody that can just come in and bust their butt?
Not usually. I mean, I think any company, once again, you kind of filter through some people that maybe just weren't, not that they didn't bust their butt, but maybe just wasn't a great match, things like that. But most people come into this business in the height of the season. It's high energy all the time. And I think a lot of people like myself, I'm not good at being bored by any means. So I think, I think that's what a lot of the folks that work for me are in the same boat. We don't want to just be sitting here twiddling our thumbs. Doesn't make the day go by faster. And I think also having awesome customers makes a big difference too. We have a great customer base, and everyone loves seeing everyone. You get first name basis between the staff and customers, and I think that just kind of creates an environment that makes the experience great for everyone.
Yeah, and I think that I've been there several times, and obviously I've been in the area. We've got
Yeah.
garden centers. We actually have Bar Harbor and as I told you before, I always want to say Mount Desert Island instead of Mount Desert Island, but
Yeah.
MDI. We've got a lot of products out on that island. We've had wonderful loyalty to our brand out there. So I've gotten to see your staff not only at your place, but also how proactive they are in going out to trade shows to be able to help you define who you are. You threw that building in there in a sense, right? You bought the land, there was nothing there. How did you
Yep.
set up your design? I mean, you talked about your logo, just putting it together, but you had a great staff that you could talk to and say, hey, should we do this, right?
Yep. I think the building that I'm sitting in right now is here on the property, but the rest of it we had to clear, put the greenhouses in, parking lots, landscaping, the whole 9 yards. That design just kind of lended itself with the way the property was laid out. But then, you know, I have a great staff that came in, and everybody kind of knows every garden center has its own sort of feeling or vibe, I guess you could
Yeah.
say. And they're all different in their own way. And I think a lot of that being small businesses is people, the owners and the staff kind of creating that together. And I think everybody has a piece of that here that they bring to the mix. So
I'm just kind of showing our studio audience, so to speak, some of the, I
mm,
mean, right now, this is obviously Christmas based, but I wanted
yep.
to see, and I can't pull the screen down so that we can see the whole thing.
Yes, this is kind of our Christmas shop, the way the shop actually looks right now as we
Yep.
speak. We do a lot of home decor, Christmas trees, Christmas wreaths, fur, anything basically. And we've had a great season so far. A lot of folks, of course, are still sticking close to home. And so a lot of home decorating, a lot of Christmas trees out the door early, people looking to just kind of have that next seasonal change, I think, at home. So,
So it's a simple space, and
yep.
you made it, and you continue to grow it, and you
Mhm.
say find your plant passion here. Isn't
Yep.
that part of what you said? Um,
Yes.
did that just come to you? Was that something you
Yes.
think about a lot?
No, we didn't take a lot of time with that. Actually, I remember standing in the greenhouse this spring in the middle of chaos, and we were trying to put together an e-commerce website, and we put together a website in 3 weeks, and which is something that normally I think takes an average of 3 months or more to
Yes.
put together.
Exactly. Yep.
So we were scrambling with everything with that, how to get photos on there, what are all those marketing points that we needed to check off the list, and we just came up with that in a split second. Um, and I think it works well. It jives for us. We have a lot of customers that are here on a week. We see a lot of folks once a week. We change our product all the time. We change our displays constantly. So, we have a lot of people that do indeed find their plant passion here because they're here all the time. So that was kind of an easy um, saying to come up with
Yeah,
for the
and
website.
obviously, if you're going to find your plant passion, you have to go someplace that's passionate about plants, right?
Right, right. And
And
we've tried to paint that picture here so people can see what their house can look like, and have the displays together with things that work, and have a knowledgeable staff to just help people that are just kind of deer in the headlights, for lack of better words, and don't really know what they want to do or what they can do. And I think that's a big thing with us is um, we're changing all the time. We're very dynamic, but we're a small enough independent garden center so where we can help everybody get what they need. That seems to
so,
be.
and what I was talking about too is also your staff. I think that you've done some great jobs with, doing. You get the videos here. Um,
Mhm.
you get you're talking about think spring. You've got planting bulbs with Sarah, and we're
Yep.
showing competitors' product here. How terrible of me to show us.
Stop.
Better get that off the screen. But that idea that you're able to the how-to stuff. Did you just start doing that this year?
We just started doing that, and lo and behold, I didn't know that we had such a group of, this is Sarah, our head gardener, we're watching
Yep.
right now, that we had such a group that not only was good at gardening and retail and all those skills, but were good actors as well.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of fun with it. Kyle from Good to Go Studios does all our promotional videos and things like that, and she's got a great personality, and so that all jived well together. She got a feeling for just kind of our sense of humor, fun, and so we actually had, although again it was a very stressful, busy time of year, we did have a good time with it, and we got seemed like people really enjoyed them. So
I think they're very effective, and I think that you guys just yeah, I mean, in these simple, they're quick, they're not long,
yep,
they get to the
yep.
point. You're able to, again, even though it was a competitor's product, you were able to highlight that. But you've also, I will say, I've seen the Coast of Maine stuff too. And
I think we used Coast of Maine in many, many videos. I like that you're picking these ones out, Cameron, that don't have it in there. Trying to make me feel bad when there's plenty of videos in there with Coast of Maine in it.
the real point in one of the things that we try to tell our garden centers to do is exactly what you've done here. I think you're a great example, not only for the consumer to know that they can do this at your place, but you're a great example to show other garden centers that, listen, you can do this too. I mean,
Yes.
it doesn't take as long, but you've got obviously young people. Not that you need young people, I'm not saying that, but you've got somebody that they're doing stuff on their phones. They're saying we can do this quickly, and the person that you're using again to help promote this, they kind of came to you because of COVID in a sense and what was happening with their job, correct?
Correct. Yep. She had actually she had done a video for us last holiday season for our clients, and this spring I just said, do you want to come do more stuff? She's like, yep, I'm here. She would normally be traveling the globe to do video production and things, and she wasn't. And so, of the short list of benefits that have come out of COVID, that was one of them, to be able to secure her. And so we really took to it, and we've been doing a lot of videos, and we're going to keep doing that too. So yeah, it worked out really well. It was daunting at first. I thought, videos, I don't know.
Yeah, no,
but it worked out good. So
and then the other piece that I was thinking about, because I know where you're located. So on the way, excuse me, I keep losing my voice here, so hold on.
Drinking already today.
Yeah. On the way out to the island.
Yep.
I think you go past a Walmart. Don't you go past a Home Depot?
Yep. Yep.
And so you've got that competition, as well as wonderful garden centers. You've also got a traditional lumber yard just down the road that has sold our products before.
Yep.
And your branding of yourself has been a huge success. I mean, your sales of Coast of Maine products has been remarkable, the way that they've gone up over the years. And how do you think that you're able to compete with big box stores and also other local retailers? What do you think you do?
I think it's part of branding yourself, but I think it's, again, goes back to kind of the setting and the vibe to which you set forth. I think that when you go to, your Walmart or your Home Depot, you might not have those dynamic personalities of the staff there to help you that are knowledgeable about things, which, in theory, that's not what they're geared to do. And the local hardware store, is great, but the soil there is just one element of the whole picture of gardening. So I think we do really well with Coast of Maine here, because people are coming, they're buying a shrub. We always say, do you need a bag of soil to go with that? Usually the answer is yes. So it's being sure to make sure you're also, you're upselling product, but you're also sending them home, you know, geared up to be successful with that shrub that they're planting. Because I don't want them to come back next spring and say that thing died. So, it's just all part of the package. And I think that's why, our sales with you have soared. And I think a lot of being a young business is just gaining our footprint in the community and in the business. But yeah, I mean, I think that's why it's a mix of, you've got more than, if you're going to get a bag of soil, you're probably not doing something with lumber that day too. I think it's just that you can get everything you need here, stop in, see what's new. I think that's a big difference that right out of the gate we started with here was the old way of doing things 30, 40 years ago is you had your product you started with in the beginning of the spring, and then that was just basically what you had all year. And now with logistics, we can get a lot of nurseries here on a weekly basis, sometimes bi-weekly. We happen to be very close to the Marion facility of Coast of Maine, so we can get Coast of Maine soil basically in a day.
Yep.
So we can keep kind of changing our inventory. So we're just not, we keep business going a lot longer through later in the season, July, August, September, just because we do change our product and rotate in constantly. So people can always come back and it's a different look every day.
Well, I think that thing of rotating product and being, again, as we talked about, being quick on your feet and nimble and doers, in today's world, do you see a difference now? Because you've been in the industry long enough to see the difference with people coming in and what they ask for questions and what they're interested in.
Totally. And and one big thing that we noticed this spring too was just our e-commerce with the website, getting that going and being able to do free delivery, curbside pickup for everybody. And it kind of shined a light on people ordering live plant material online. And I think most garden centers know that there's some outfits out there that are kind of working on the e-commerce end of it. And you've got some people that say, I want to see the product, touch it, hold it, what so have you. But I think when you get to a brand recognition level, there's no question, like Coast of Maine, we delivered pallets and pallets and pallets full of Coast of Maine soils to folks this season because they knew what they were getting. And I think now that we're 5 years in business, it was easy to deliver people shrubs and things sight unseen because they knew what they were getting from us. So I do think that, the e-commerce way and selling products online that we deliver locally is going to be a new thing for us that's going to stick around.
Well, and I was just pulling up as you were talking about e-commerce. I mean, this is on your website and all the things that is just one section of your website. Right. Are these things, you make some of this stuff yourself, but is all of this made yourself, or have you got a third party that you're getting product from that you're then reselling?
Yeah, I do have some suppliers for a lot of the hard goods. Our wreaths, if you go back to holiday products and look at our balsam for wreaths, those are made locally here. We make all these,
but made right at Frost Farms, so they're fresh, beautiful, almost specialty made wreath. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yep, and we have Christmas trees here, and those come from northern Maine, and so we keep it as local as we can. We are like in a very heavy balsam fir state, so there's no reason why we can't. That's for sure.
That's really the key too. And so, what's been your biggest challenge?
Ooh, that's a good one, Cameron.
Other than dealing with me, what's been your biggest challenge?
I know, right? Thank God we got Pete Bottomley around now. So you can come down with Coast of Maine. Pete, I'll be expecting a Christmas card when you see this. It's hard to say. There's been a lot of challenges, but for the most part, they seem to have been easily worked through. We're not on a large piece of real estate here, but again, going back to just logistics and the whole thing, we can rotate product in and out so fast that it doesn't have to be that big. But that's a constant weekly thing. So, so it's just, there's a lot of tactical duties that are challenging in the busiest season. And, I think we are growing. We have growing pains. We try to work through those. This spring was definitely, and for every garden center, we all have the same parallels, I'm sure, of what was happening and what to do. We sprung to e-commerce because We didn't know if we were going to just be a warehouse for the year. We were even going to have customers. Is this whole thing going to tank? Like, what's going to happen? So I think any small business owner, so, and you have your staff too that always has ideas. Well, hey, what if we did this, or what if we did that? Just like I'm sure you've given Carlos ideas in the past, and he's
He
soaked
gives
those
me
in.
ideas and I just carry them out, you know.
Oh, I
I'm
see. I see.
very
Okay.
compliant.
But so that's the kind of nice part about being a small business is you can also make changes really fast as a
Sure.
small business. You've got ideas, you've got customers that kind of drop thoughts to you, and it's very in a small setting, easy to implement those. I feel like a lot of the time. So there's been challenges, but we work through it, and you just do what you can.
What do you, when, as you look into 2021, and your expectations for the 2021 season? Just as busy, busier, new things? What do you
You
think you're gonna?
know, it's hard to say. I feel like after 2020, I feel like there's some things that I look back on in hindsight and said, how come we didn't see that coming?
Yeah,
Like
right.
just, and I think everyone's in the same spot. Do we grow more? Do we grow less? Do we whatever? And then all of a sudden you're like, duh, people are going to be home. Why didn't we? Obviously, they're going to garden. I felt like we had some of those moments. It was like, oh, why was I so nervous about pulling the trigger on this or that? But anyway, knowing that going forward into 2021, I do think that at least, I think the e-commerce thing will stay and be large, especially with our younger clientele. And I think we've got some gardeners to stay. Whether I can predict that there's just the demand goes through the roof and, everything kind of goes absolutely crazy. I don't think that will happen, thank God, because I don't know if
Yep.
we can do that again. But I think I think there still will be people that are going to garden. I think that this whole thing has gotten people to think about the long range of life. Like this isn't just necessarily going to go away and everything's going to go back to normal for the rest of our lives. I think it just kind of gives people insight onto what could happen.
So
And
some of the stuff that I read says, hey, 16 million new gardeners came on, 86% had success,
mhm,
depending on coming back. Whether that's accurate or not, it's kind of a basic number.
it's hard to say. Yeah.
The new gardeners coming in, are they biting off smaller scale, larger scale? What are they interested in growing?
You know, it all varied. Of course, everyone had in the very beginning the whole veggie garden thing because, for the fear of lack of food.
Yep.
I do think that the younger growers, I do think younger people like veggie gardening because you get a real product out of a very short
Yep.
season, from start to finish with that tomato plant. And I do think the younger generation is much more like kind of a want it now kind of thing. So if you can in 60 days
Yeah.
show off this giant tomato or however many days it takes, that's very satisfying, I guess, in the short term.
Sure.
It's funny because they all started with veggies, and I feel like a lot of the younger folks kept coming in, and that's when they were getting more into like shrubs or perennials. As they kept moving along, they're like, "Well, we cleaned out this area around the house. What can we do?" And but a lot of it's low maintenance was big, getting shrubs and things to make their houses look nice, but
Not having to,
not gardening and finicking around with it a lot. So,
just something that came to my mind because Maine's a special place anyway.
it sure is.
And we're ahead of the curve. We're independent thinkers. We live in a beautiful, environmentally friendly state, progressive thinkers. Maine has had a very progressive medicinal cannabis program, and now cannabis is recreationally legal.
Yeah.
What about people coming in and asking questions about growing cannabis? Do you get that?
They are, yep, we do. And I was just seeing on the News Center Maine was reporting today that cannabis is now the number one
Yep,
crop,
number one
I guess you
crop.
could say, over blueberries and everything in Maine right now, which is
Pretty amazing.
kind of surprised me. I don't know why I thought of it, but we do have some younger growers coming in. It's interesting because a lot of them have their own
Oh yeah.
blend. Everybody's got their own blend. And so, but it's funny because I sell a lot of the Stonington blend. We've gotten on that. I said, hey, this one bag does it all. sometimes they're hesitant, like this is getting away from my blend, you know. But a lot of people like it. Then there are people that will still make their own blend, but still involves coast of Maine. Cow manure is a big one. Earthworm castings is another. We had a guy come in for, I can't remember exactly what product of yours it was, and we were sold out at the time. I think it was the spring again. And so we got some coming in next week. I said, but there is a Stonington blend that's really awesome, and that. And he's like, nope, I gotta have those earthworm castings or whatever they were. So that's an interesting business because it's not just cutting like Stonington blend, Stonington blend, Stonington blend. They have like their own Coast of Maine mix that they make. So I don't know, but there definitely is newfound demand for cannabis growing soils.
So
and
it's
fertilizers.
interesting because what you're hitting on and what you have the capability to do is pretty much everything, because you got a landscaping crew, right? You do about
Yes.
percent landscaping, and so kind of talk about that side of your business a little bit too.
So we funnel a lot of the Coast of Maine products through our landscaping services as well. I've got about, in the height of the season, it's about 18 to 20 people on the road doing various tasks. We've got landscape crew. We plant trees, shrubs, full landscapes, new construction. We have a lot of clients that we maintain their estates for them. We have a gardening team that does border, estate gardens and things like that. And so we're pretty busy on that end too, but we do use a lot of Coast of Maine products through landscaping as well.
That's awesome. So I'm going to let you go. This was
Okay.
This was really enjoyable for me. I hope that it was enjoyable for the people.
Thank you.
Watch.
It was.
And in particular, I just want to thank you for doing business with Coast of Maine. We enjoy doing business with Frost Farms. I think you're doing an amazing job, and I think you're a good example for people and for young women. I think you're a great example too. So keep killing it. All right.
All right. Well, thank you, Cameron. And thank you guys for having faith in me in the very beginning. You
Yeah.
sold me soil, and I had no credit with you whatsoever.
No, but we already knew. We knew you. We knew
Right.
what was going to happen. So, all right, Frosty, thanks.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.